Hello, my name is Dr. Linda Gorman, and I'm a neuroscientist. We already know that neuroscience, that's a really big word, but a neuroscientist is a person who knows a lot about the brain. And I'm here today with my friend Denny to talk to you about how you can help to make your brain healthy, make it feel good. It's really easy and anyone can do it. Denny and I love talking about brain health because it's spectacular. And Denny and I know spectacular means great. When your brain is spectacular, you're a happy and healthy person. Now, Denny's here with me today because this is a brain facts story. And Denny helps us to learn about brain facts because we have to know and understand some things about our brain if we're going to understand how to keep our brain healthy. Hopefully, after hearing the story that Denny and I have to tell you, you're going to understand why your brain is so important. Denny and I already know that our brains are important. And we know because we know that our brain helps us to do so many things. We ask questions all the time. That's because our brain helps us to think of the questions that we need to ask. We move around so that we can get the things that we need to stay alive. And we come up with good ideas about how to live in this world that we live in. Because our brain does so much to help us stay alive, we have to work hard to keep our brain healthy. And Denny and I both know that your brain helps you, so you have to help your brain. That's what's known as a symbiotic relationship. I know, Denny, that's a big word, but a symbiotic relationship is where two parts help each other. So we help our brain and our brain helps us. That's how we stay alive and that's how we keep our brain healthy. Jenny, did you know that some of the things that your brain does to help you stay alive, it does automatically? It does. This means that your brain takes care of some things without you even having to think about it. Let's think about this, Denny. When you wake up in the morning, do you have to tell your heart to pump blood to your muscles so you can get out of bed? Do you? No, of course not. Your brain takes care of that for you. How about this, Denny? When you breathe, do you have to tell your lungs to breathe so you can get the oxygen that your body needs to survive? Nope, your brain does it for you. These are things that your brain does automatically without you even having to think about it, Denny. Now, Denny, even though we say that the brain does these things automatically, the brain does need help from other parts of your body because your brain doesn't work alone to keep you alive. So your brain, it doesn't pump the blood all by itself. Your brain needs your heart to do the work. Your heart gets the information about where blood is needed. So if you wake up in the morning and you need to get out of bed, Denny, your heart is going to pump blood to your muscles so that your muscles can move. But if you just ate your breakfast, Denny, and now you have to digest your food, then your heart pumps the blood to your stomach. So you see, Denny, your brain does do these things automatically, but your brain needs help from other parts of your body too. So, Denny, in order for you to do the things that you need to do to stay alive, your heart and your brain, they have to talk to each other because your heart gets information from your brain about how much blood is needed. So, let's think about this, Denny. Let's say that you need to walk to the kitchen to get a glass of water. Then your muscles need some blood to make your arms and your legs move. But let's say this, Denny. Let's say you were going for a walk in the woods and a big bear started chasing you, Denny. Then you need a lot of blood to go to your muscles so you could run away fast. You definitely need your brain and your heart to be working together automatically without you having to think about it. Thinking, Denny, that slows you down. And that would not be good if a big bear was chasing you. So you see, Denny, even though your heart sends the blood to where it's needed and it sends the right amount so that you can do what you need to do to stay alive, it's your brain that figures out where the blood has to go and how much blood is needed to do what you need to do. It's your brain and your heart talking together, and it's your brain that tells your heart how much blood to pump and where to pump that blood. Okay, so we know that we need our lungs to help us to breathe. And we know that we need to breathe because we need oxygen. But did you know, Denny, that your brain, it doesn't magically get the oxygen out of the air. That's why your brain needs your lungs to help get the oxygen out of the air that we breathe. In order to get the oxygen that our body needs, we must breathe. Now, Denny, you may be thinking to yourself, I don't need my brain to breathe. I can breathe whenever I want to. I can breathe in, I can breathe out, I can hold my breath if I want to. Well, you're kind of right, but it's your brain that knows how much and when you need to breathe. Okay, so let's think about this. How long can you hold your breath? Denny, how long can you hold your breath? Well, for most people, they can hold their breath between 30 seconds and 2 and 3 minutes. That's a long time. But did you know that there was a person in Croatia that held their breath for 24 minutes and 37 seconds? Yep, in 1921, that person holds the Guinness World Record for holding their breath. But did you ever think about why you can't hold your breath for that long? Well, it's because oxygen is so important to help keep you alive that even though you may want to hold your breath longer, your brain ultimately will make you breathe. So for normal people, you can hold your breath for about 30 seconds to about maybe 2 or 3 minutes. You can learn how to hold it a little bit longer, but at some point, everybody needs to breathe. And your brain, when it needs that oxygen, that's right, Denny, it's going to make you breathe. So Denny knows that the things that your brain does automatically for you are things that you have to do all the time to stay alive. Those are things like breathing and pumping blood to your body and getting energy from food that you eat. Denny, did you know that if you had to think about doing these things all the time, that your brain, it would be using too much energy. Your brain would be running around working all the time. And then your brain would get tired because thinking takes lots of energy. So you see, Denny, our brain helps us to do behaviors automatically to help us stay alive, but there are some behaviors that our brain can't do automatically. These are things like eating or drinking or sleeping or going to the bathroom. All animals need to do these things to survive. These are behaviors that your brain helps you to do, but your brain can't do these things alone. Plus, there's definitely thinking that goes into these behaviors, Denny. Okay, Denny, so let's look at eating behaviors. As I said, eating is a behavior that the brain helps us to do, but your brain can't do it alone. So your brain talks to your stomach. Your brain and your stomach are talking all the time. And your brain gets lots of signals from your stomach and even from fat cells in your body. These signals tell the brain when your body needs food. The hungrier you are, the more signals go to your brain. Now, your brain has a problem, Denny. Your brain knows you need food, but your brain can't get food all by yourself. Your brain doesn't have legs. Your brain doesn't have a mouth. Your brain doesn't have a stomach. Your brain needs other parts of your body to get the food, so your brain makes you think about getting the food. Now, we need the brain to help us think about getting the food because, depending on where you are, There's different ways to get food, Denny. So you first need to ask yourself, okay, where am I? So you've learned how to get food in different places. So, Denny, let's say you're at school. You may have to go to the school cafeteria. You may have to wait in line, get your food, and then go sit down and eat it. But if you're at home, Denny, you may need to just ask somebody to help you get the food, which is usually in the kitchen. When you get the food, then you can sit down and eat it. So, Denny, in order to get food, your stomach first has to tell your brain that you're hungry. Then your brain tells your body to move based on what you've learned about where you are and how you get food in those different places. What happens next, Denny, is my favorite part. Eating food when you're hungry makes you happy. This is your brain at work again. Your brain makes you happy so that you do the same behaviors again the next time you're hungry. And after you've eaten, Denny, then your stomach tells your brain you're full, and your brain tells your body to stop eating. Denny, did you know that if you ate slow enough, your brain and your stomach, they have a chance to talk, and you would eat the perfect right amount of food that your body needs. And you'd be happy because you did that. Eating when you're hungry makes you happy. This is your brain making sure you get the food that you need when you need it. Eating when you're full, well, that can actually make you feel sick, Denny. This is because your brain is making sure that you don't eat too much food. And Denny, just like when you're eating, your brain is going to do the same thing for you when you need water or when you need to sleep or even when you need to go to the bathroom. You see, Denny, your brain, it's getting signals from your body. So your body is talking to your brain and telling the brain what's needed. Your brain then makes you think about what you need to do in order to get what your body needs, whether it's some sleep, a glass of water, or to find a bathroom so you can go to the bathroom. Your brain helps you by using things you've learned to tell your body to move and to do the behaviors you need to do to stay alive. So, when you're sitting in a classroom, Denny, think about this. If you're sitting in a classroom and you feel like you need to pee, you've learned you don't just sit there and pee in the classroom. You need to go find a bathroom to do this. You know that because you've learned this. And we know that just sitting there and peeing, that would not be a good thing. So your brain, Denny, it does keep you alive. And your brain helps to keep you alive in two different ways. Your brain does things for you automatically, which means you don't have to think about it. So you don't have to tell your heart to pump to your muscles when you're going to move. Your brain does that for you. There's also things that you need to do to stay alive that your brain needs to think about, and then your brain tells your body what to do. So your brain would tell your heart to start pumping the blood. Your brain and your body work together symbiotically. We know that word now. And your brain and your body work together to help to keep you alive. So Denny and I want to thank you for letting us talk to you about why your brain is so important in helping you to stay alive. We've enjoyed spending time with you today talking about your brain, and we hope that you've had some fun and you've learned something about your brain. Remember, your brain does some things that we need to do automatically to stay alive, like pumping blood to our muscles so that we can move, breathing, and digesting our food. These are things we don't even have to think about. There's other behaviors that we do to stay alive that we do need to think about. So your brain also gets signals from other parts of your body, and then it tells your body to do the behaviors that you need to do to stay alive, like getting and eating food, drinking water, and sleeping. If you understand how important your brain is to keeping you alive, then you'll understand why helping your brain stay healthy is spectacular. So thank you so much for listening to us. We know brain health, it's not just spectacular, it's fun too. And as always, Denny and I want to thank the people at Johns Hopkins University, especially Dr. Ron Daniels, for helping us to help you understand how your brain keeps you alive and why it's so important to keep your brain healthy so it can help you stay alive.